Good morning, my name is Jacob Folger. I'm an artist sculptor, and today we are going to make a little moss garden, fairy garden type thing. And we're going to be using some moss. I have moss here, a couple different kinds. And we're going to be using a potting dish here for the garden. And we're going to put in pebbles. We get pebbles for drainage. And these are nice small pebbles. That's what you want, is nice small pebbles like this. And so we're going to be using those. We've got a lot of little elements to go in it. Last night I made this little fairy house. And that will be going in it. And I also made some stepping stones. These are stepping stones for the fairy garden. And I have a lot of like stones here. And if you look in the video description down below the video, you'll find a tool and supply list. And in that you'll find a source for live moss, for stones, where you can buy stones online. You'll also find a source for crystals. I have crystals here. I have large ones, and I also have small ones here, like these here. And over here I have more stones. These are smaller pebbles. I have little shiny black stones, all different kinds. I like kind of a natural setting, but I am going to definitely put the fairy house in there. I also have some seashells, and there'll be sources for all this in the video description down below the video. And I also have a bench, and also down in the video description you're going to find a video on how to make the bench and how to make fairy houses. And there's actually going to be a whole bunch of videos, tutorials on how to make fairy houses, different kinds, in that playlist. So we got a lot to do here, so let's go ahead and get started. I need to clear some space. Okay, we're going to start off by putting our drainage pebbles. And this is something you'll need to do unless you have a hole in the bottom of your pot, because you got to keep the moss up away from any puddling water. It's basically covering the bottom of it like that. And we've got our moss. This moss is fern moss. And again, there'll be a source for moss in the video description down below the video. This here is mound moss, and it comes in a big mound. So I'm just kind of positioning it in here. This little piece of moss has little, I don't know if you can see them, little flowers coming off of them. And it's a very pretty piece of moss. I think I'm going to put that right over in here. Now when planting the moss in here, one thing you should know is you don't need soil. So here's a nice big mound here. So you can see what that looks like. And you want to put the moss in a way that it's not stressed. In other words, you don't want to cram it in. You want to just set it in. I've got a little piece here. Now, usually you can either break the moss apart or you can tear it. So I'm just going to tear off a piece to go in here. There we go. And moss, it's okay to touch it. In fact, it's really nice to touch it. It's very soft, and it doesn't hurt it to touch it. I have a few air plants here. And the way I care for these is, you know, I take them out and I soak them in water for about an hour, and then I let them dry upside down so they don't get any rot in the roots or into the center of the plant. So pretty easy to take care of. Let me just put one there and maybe one over here. And I've got a couple of different ones here. Just kind of put them around. That looks like a nice natural setting so far. I think I'm going to add some crystals. Just lay them in there. Maybe a few small ones. Let's see, I've got this one here. And then, wow, it's really looking nice. I'm going to get a stone, I think. Oh, I've got a nice amethyst crystal here. And let's find a place for that. Maybe here. And I have a seashell, and maybe a couple of different seashells in here, maybe one here. Now I think I'm going to put the fairy house that I made last night. Let's try it right here. It's pinned, so I put a pin in the bottom so that you can just put it in there and it'll stand up. Hopefully stand up. So that kind of adds to it. And I did, now I don't know if you know, but I do art photography too, and I've learned that the color purple goes really well with green. So I made these little, and you'll find some of these, a video about this in the playlist I'm going to provide you on fairy houses. If you notice, it's kind of cone shaped. This is a stepping stone. It's kind of cone shaped and has a pin on the bottom. And if I just kind of turn my finger like that, it slides down into the moss. So let's see, have it. Just have it come around like this. Actually, maybe down this way. Creation in progress. It's really fun. Really a lot of fun to make these. I think I'm going to pull this one out and just move it a little bit closer to the other stone. You know, like that. Yeah, it's really a ball, let me tell you. You're going to have fun. Okay, I think that's where it's going to end because it's hitting this one piece of hard moss. It depends on the type of moss. But if I'm trying to put pins in it, I want a cone for that. Now, let's see, we've got a bench here. Now the bench is a little big for the house, but I think that's okay. And when you make your bench from that video, you can make it smaller. I'm just going to put it down here by the amethyst crystal. So let's see what we got so far. So just gotta settle them in there, and it'd probably be good to see over this way here. It'd probably be good to put some stones in there as well, and got different kinds here. This one might be nice in here. And then sometimes when I put stones in, I like to put little ones in around it. Got the camera kind of at a better angle so you can see where we're at now. We have a little bit of a leaning problem with the house, but I think if you made a longer pin, it would do better probably and stand up better. But that is a fun little garden there. And now, as far as caring for this goes, again, the plants, you want to take them out every 2 or 3 days. Soak them in water for an hour, let them dry upside down, and then you can put them back inside the garden. And then for the moss, what I do is I use a mister like this with distilled water, and it just doesn't, the chlorine can hurt the moss, so the chlorine in the water, so that's why I use distilled water. And just keep it moist, and it depends, the amount you water it depends on how warm your house is, how dry your house is, so that's going to vary depending on you know, the atmosphere in your house. And then you want to keep it in indirect sunlight, so the sun isn't beaming down on it. So just keep that in mind. And that is how you make a fairy moss garden. And if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel. I do many videos along these lines, and please like the video, share it with your friends. That really helps a lot if you share it with your friends. And leave me a comment. If you have an idea for a video that you'd like to see me make, tell me about that in the comment section. You also can leave questions there. I'm really good about answering and responding to my comments. Thank you so much for listening. Be creative, have fun, and have a fantastic day.